When an angel appeared to me, a true story. This is a true story. I've only told a few people, my mom, some family members, and a few friends. I've kept it to myself, mainly out of fear of being ridiculed. But it's almost 35 years later, and now that I'm older, I'm realizing it should be shared because these experiences give people hope. Some background first. When I was 15, I was diagnosed with severe ulcerative colitis. I went from a healthy teenager to being hospitalized for weeks, bleeding uncontrollably. Medication worked for a few years, but at 18, I was told I needed a colostomy bag or I likely wouldn't live past 30. There was hope though. A new colostomy reversal surgery I could get in a year. I wouldn't have to have the bag of poop on me anymore. But this was before social media, and I had no one my age to talk to. Living with the bag was isolating and humiliating. From the horrible odor and frequent accidents, I fell into deep depression and drank my way out of college. In 1991, I had the reversal surgery at Johns Hopkins Hospital. I was the third patient to receive it, and the first it failed on. The doctors didn't know how to handle it. I spent 4 months starving because every bite of food made me severely incontinent. It wasn't poop. It was a poop-like fluid that was half feces and half liquid acid. I was crapping my bed at night and waking up with poop smeared all over my body. I was walking around with poop stuck in my body hair. I was pooping 30 times a day. I lost a third of my body weight. The acid burned into my skin and made contact with my exposed nerves. It was agony. Eventually, I had to get the ostomy bag again. But the night before, I was given a saline enema during surgical prep. When the salt hit those exposed nerves, I screamed in agony for 5 hours, cursing God for what he did to me. Finally, the nerves died from overstimulation. At 20, I was physically destroyed and deeply traumatized, and still facing a lifetime with a bag of poop on me. The only thing that still made me feel human was simply breathing. It was November 1991. I was 20 years old. I was in too much shock to recognize my faith in God had died. Then something strange started happening the next month. My guitar amplifier started turning itself on 3 times. Once in front of me, and 2 more times in front of 2 friends. This was before fancy electronic switches. It was a heavy, mechanical switch that was harder to move than a typical light switch on your wall. Yet it was physically moving from off to on. I went to the guitar shop I purchased it from and naively asked, "Does this model of amplifier sometimes turn itself on?" They looked at me like I had bigger issues than my amp. When I think back on it, there's at least 3 other unexplainable things that had happened to me, starting in the months before I first became critically ill. If you're interested in knowing, let me know in the comments. In the early morning of January 12, 1992, I was asleep in my bed when I suddenly had this overwhelming dream. I felt this absolutely pure, incredible love pouring through my body. It was beyond amazing. I thought of a friend I had been feeling angry towards, and I instantly knew why I was mad at him. And it seemed so silly that I was mad at him, that I just felt myself filled with laughter. And a thought went excitedly through my head. Love can conquer anything. Love and understanding can conquer anything. The pure love and joy I felt in the dream was so overwhelming, I snapped awake. I stared into the darkness of my room and thought, wow, that was a crazy dream, so I fell back asleep. Once I was asleep, it happened again. The love started pouring through me. I felt like I was bathed in pure joy and love. It was absolutely incredible. And once again I snapped back awake. This is odd, I thought, as I stared back out into my room. But sometimes a dream can continue. I am lying awake, and then it happened. One of the most terrifying moments in my life. The love I felt in my dream physically touched my right arm, halfway between my wrist and my elbow. It was not the emotion of love, it was a physical feeling of love putting pressure onto my arm. It started moving up my arm. I was not dreaming. I was alone in my room, in the dark, with something immensely powerful and real that I could not see. It was pure physical love moving up my skin, and I started to panic. I said out loud, "Now I'm starting to get scared," and then I could feel the physical love quickly pull off of me. The love didn't disappear, it physically slid off of me very rapidly. I fell back asleep. I'm a rational person, as you can tell from my videos. I woke up the next morning thinking I simply experienced a very weird type of sleep paralysis. But 3 days later, it happened again. January 15, 1992. The incredible feeling of love, but this time followed by a dream. In the dream, I was in a church that wasn't my church, but one I would start attending 3 years later. 2 young girls came up to me and said, "Don't tell anybody, they won't believe you." I woke up the next morning and rationalized it away as just a weird coincidence. Maybe I was still overwhelmed by the experience of 3 nights before. I just went along with my life. And then, 3 days later, January 18, 1992, is when it happened. Again, it's the early morning hours. I am sound asleep. The feeling of pure love rushes over me and through me. It is exhilarating. I feel like I am suspended in the air. And I snap awake. I'm looking to my left towards my bedroom windows, but something's odd. I'm very nearsighted, but I can see with perfect clarity. The edges of the windows, the blinds, my bookshelf, and my desk are all perfectly sharp. Nothing is blurry. I quickly look towards my right. And there it is. It's at the end of my bed and a little to the right. It's about 18 inches off my bedroom floor. I look up, and the top of its head has materialized through my bedroom ceiling, as if the ceiling stopped existing. My bedroom has 7-foot ceilings, so the thing is about 7 feet tall. And I stare at the thing in confused disbelief. I say to myself, "Is that an angel?" I'm not scared. I'm just really confused, much in the same way if maybe I saw Elvis raiding my fridge. I stare at the thing. It's not colorful and amazing like we read in the Bible. I know it's wearing white, but the lack of light in my room is making it look grayish. I look to see if it has feet, because somewhere I read that ghosts don't have feet. Yep, it has 2 feet, crystal clear just like everything else in my room, and they're angled apart from each other at maybe 35 degrees, the same way as any other dude who ever just stood around in my bedroom. But the feet are bare. Unlike every image of an angel I've ever seen, there's no sandals on its feet. So okay, I have an actual angel standing in my bedroom. It's not moving and I don't feel scared or threatened. So I just start looking the dude over very closely. The first thing I see is that there's a cloud over its face. For some reason I still can't figure out, I am not allowed to see its face. So I look at its wings. The inside curves of the wings are convex, so they kind of form a very rounded letter M behind it. They go up to about the top of its head, and the bottoms taper off somewhat above its feet. Apparently, I now have supervision, and I can see every individual feather in the right wing as I'm oriented. And then first pan over to the left, and can see every feather in the left wing. The feathers all very evenly layered. They are perfectly shaped and perfectly arranged. So I look back at its clouded over face and head. There's a faint glow behind its head. The glow illuminates the soft curls that fall from its head down to its shoulders. And then I look down its body and look at the simple robe it's wearing. It hangs off its shoulders and extends to just above its ankles. Nothing fancy. It's held together by a golden rope that's tied on the left side at the waist. I can't recall very well, but I think it's a simple square knot. The ends of the rope hang down its left side along the leg. There's a little ball at each end of the rope, and I can clearly see each strand of the golden tassels that are hanging down a few inches from them. 20 years later, I will see my parish priest wearing the exact same thing. I will learn that the robe is called an alb, and the robe tying it together is called a cincture. After maybe 10 seconds of looking this dude over, I realize he's standing in my room at 2 in the morning for a reason. I think to myself, he who sent this to me is far greater than this is. And I stare back into its clouded over face, understanding that God wants to tell me something. I say, "Yes, O Lord." I say it very obediently, considering I'm a young man who's about to spend the next few years giving the Lord a lot of heartburn. And finally the angel speaks, It says one single word that I still don't know what it means. It says September. And immediately, I collapse back into a deep sleep, knowing I am to pay attention to the dream I'm about to have. In my dream, I am in my hospital bed. I jumped out very energetically, as if my medical problems are over. There are a few friends standing in front of me. There's a black-haired woman I don't know laying in my hospital bed. The perspective changes, and now I'm looking at myself. My back is turned on my friends and the strange woman. They have looks of disbelief on their faces. I am smiling, and I say, September. It's just like the angel said, September, just like that song, September Rain. And then the dream ends, and ever since, I've had no idea what the angel meant when it said September. I know September Rain is reference to the Guns N' Roses song, November Rain, which I had only heard in its entirety once before. This was the only time I saw anything during the 3 years of visitations that followed. If you want to know more, let me know in the comments. Thank you for listening.